Welcome back to Derry Public Radio. Reporting from the basement of the Derry Civic Center, this is CM Alexander with the news. Acorn Street Grammar School is currently under lockdown. Sources say a student discovered a live tiger in the boys' restroom. After half a dozen staff never returned from investigating the bathroom, the remaining staff stopped responding to the rumor with, "This I've gotta see." You're listening to Derry Public Radio. This is Derry Public Radio.
Welcome back to Derry Public Radio, a bi-weekly Stephen King Book Club podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Kahn, alongside CM Alexander.
Hello, everyone.
And Eve Gatto.
Hey, constant readers.
And today, we are back with a short story collection. We've moved on from Everything's Eventual, and so we were trying to decide what was next. Realizing we've covered The Mist, so why not jump into Skeleton Crew?
I thought you were going to say, so what else is there to cover? So good.
Because I always forget when I pick up Skeleton Crew that The Mist is the first whole
It
chunk of
seems
that
like
book.
its own book.
Yes.
I always think
because
that
it's
way.
sold as its own book so frequently now.
Oh, that's how to make this episode longer. Let's talk about another book we've already covered.
In a book like this, we've had this conversation before. Stories that are very limited pages that we accidentally talk about for a very long time.
And our
I
most
think this could
recent
be
episodes have been 2 hours long, so I'm gonna estimate this will be an hour.
our brains are sick.
We will see.
We are back with Skeleton Crew, and this time we decided to go with There Be Tygers, with CM leading our discussion. CM, take it away.
Thanks, Josh. This is a short story published in 1968. It was eventually included in Skeleton Crew, and that was published in 1985. So that really freaked me out because I was like, wait a minute. I know what King's first book was. It's Carrie. we covered it on the show. It was our first book, too. But yeah, so that makes sense. Because I was like, wow, this is so short. It's 4 pages, by the way. What was King doing? How old was he? What had he done? What had he done so far?
1968.
I have a theory that I'll save to the end.
Okay. This is a pretty simple story. Again, it's 4 pages, but there are several important themes I made myself find so we could talk. And we can keep those in mind as we talk about the plot. So those themes are pretty obvious, but in case anyone listening didn't read it, I'll list them. Authority versus vulnerability.
Okay.
Childhood fears.
Yeah.
Ambiguity of reality, which is something we always talk about anyway.
This is the most book club ass episode of this show. I love it.
I spent the last 2 days, I have 60 papers to grade.
Holy smokes.
And I feel like I'm writing more written corrective feedback style stuff
Oh,
than
yeah?
their papers are long.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm going to try desperately to turn that shit off for this episode.
No, we need it.
That's what I just came from.
No, we need that energy because I want to ask before we get into it, which of you decided we're starting this is our second short story collection. We all love short stories. He has so many good ones. This is one of the classics. There are so many good short stories in this collection. Why are we starting with There Be Tygers?
Because it's the second one. And we covered The Mist. As the first story.
Oh, we're going in order.
So I just decided.
Asked and answered. That makes sense. I don't know. There are so many. I pulled out my copy of Skeleton Crew. This is one of the first short story collections I read in high school when I had first discovered Stephen King. There are bangers in here. Today, getting ready, I went out to lunch to treat myself to lunch. And I was like, we're recording later. I got to remember to get to the coffee shop, sit down and read this story. And then I read the whole thing while eating my lunch. It went real quick.
So let's talk about what happens in this. This is a story about a kid named Charles who is absolutely terrified of using the bathroom at school. So I want to immediately interrupt what happens in the story by asking, we can go around if we want, anybody have childhood bathroom stories of fear that they feel comfortable sharing and wouldn't be horrible to hear for us?
I will start by saying this kid has an anxiety disorder. This is a
Yeah.
child with an
Yes.
anxiety disorder. I so totally relate to this character because the childlike fear, saying the word bathroom in front of your classmates is so relatable.
No one will ever touch me if they know I use the bathroom.
1,000%. It is so brief, but so pure and real that this kid he's mad that the teacher won't let him say he needs to go to the basement. He hates this teacher because the other two teachers are cool, but this one wants you to say, I have to go to the bathroom, because going to the basement, which is what everyone in this school says, I guess.
I have something on that.
Eve, you beautifully deflected my question.
Oh, no.
In an appropriate way, because when neither of you felt like you wanted to answer my original question, I realized maybe that question wasn't normal. But I have a story about a basement bathroom.
I feel like everyone has, is that not a universal feeling of when I was a kid, in my own home, we had two bathrooms, the upstairs bathroom and the downstairs bathroom. And our basement in my house, fully furnished. It is just another room in the house. But as a small child, I was terrified of it. And so the downstairs bathroom was a place of sheer childhood terror. And I totally get it.
Yeah, my parents divorced when I was little, and I'd go to my dad's on weekends. And he lived in this afterthought of a house across the street from this tiny little cemetery. And the bathroom, to get to it, it wasn't in the house itself. You had to go through the garage.
Oh, no.
Down basement steps and into this unfinished basement. And so imagine being a kid and doing that in winter. And you have to put on your shoe. Every time you have to pee, you have to put on your shoes and your coat, and you have to go out through the garage, down into the basement. And
I would hate
there
that.
Be so many spiders in that basement. It was horrible. And I look back now and I'm like,
if you're a girl.
if you're a girl. If I was an adult.
Josh. No boy is afraid of spiders.
Having to go downstairs
house.
Every time you have to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
I would just pee out a window.
Or in the sink, probably.
Out a window?
Dudes are gross.
I grew up in the country. I don't want to talk about it.
It was a country road, so I don't know what my dad did. Anyway, Josh, you had a thought.
I have a core memory of being little in my grandparents' house. My mom and I lived with my grandparents for a while when we moved back from Kansas. And I must have walked into the bathroom in the middle of the night and somehow locked the door behind me when I shut the door. And so I used the bathroom, and then I tried to open the door and I couldn't get out. And so I started slamming my fists on the door, screaming for help. And I thought maybe I was going to die in there, trapped cold and alone. And I screamed and I cried, and I punched the door until I cried myself to sleep on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
And
you lived in that bathroom for 3 years.
That's why the bathroom's haunted.
Yeah. And then my Aunt Jen woke up in the morning to get ready for school.
She's like, unlock the door.
Managed to talk me through opening the door. Thanks for asking.
And I feel like an asshole, which I think was your goal.
I wouldn't have told the story had
I
I not wanted to tell the story.
I don't know. I had so much childhood anxiety, though. Like, not bathroom specific, but I want to hear from you guys, because I don't know what level of neurotypical you two are compared to me. And sometimes I go, there are experiences that I believe are universal that are not. In the story, our main character shows a lot of anxiety about a lot of things, talking about things, but there's a moment where he is getting up and just walking out the door. And the way it is written is so real to me, where he's just walking to the door to leave and he's like, the teacher doesn't continue
Yeah.
the lesson. She just stops and lets me
I
walk
would hate
in
that
silence.
now. Yeah.
And it gave me such intense emotional flashback
Mhm.
to how terrified I was as a child to get up and use the pencil sharpener.
Yes.
Is
to
it
get
just
up-
me?
really?
No, to get up in
Okay.
front of anybody and do anything and draw attention to
Was a
yourself.
nightmare.
I never wanted to move ever.
Yes.
Like you find that chair and you don't leave it.
No. Josh, is this
He loves being
is this
looked at.
girl
What are
stuff?
you
That's
talking
being
about?
true.
looked at.
Oh my god, it's true.
It's girl stuff. It's only child stuff. It's personality stuff.
There is definitely a bit of the only childness in there, yeah.
I'm married to one, so I get it. I know. I love that you brought that up because I think this is why this incredibly short story stands out so much, because it perfectly taps into just normal and, as an adult looking back, completely weird childhood fears we have.
Completely insane. I wish I could go back and just, if I could tell, well, I was going to be like,
She
if I could
wouldn't
tell
listen.
myself one thing as I was younger, I got a lot of things that I'd have to get off my chest. But one of the things that I would like to tell my younger self, it would be like, chill the fuck out. No one cares. No one cares. Just do things and stop making yourself miserable.
I wish that actually worked, because I worked with kids for so long, and you can't tell them, like, you think all of this it's nothing. Just don't even care about it. You'll be so much happier. Anyway, sorry that tapped into a few other things
Yeah.
too. We kind of talked about what happened, but do either of you have anything else to comment on? Was it Miss Bird that is his teacher?
Yeah.
On her problem with bodily needs and her shaming? Because this actually made me think of fears like this that children have, probably are largely shaped by cultural norms in our society.
So, okay. I'm going to advocate for Miss Bird for a weird second in a very strange way.
Sure.
All right. Now, okay.
That is weird because I thought she's a real weirdo creep.
Yes. So I think we get Charles's his anxiety, his paranoia. There's a line early when he talks about the other teachers that are here, and he says it was inevitable I was gonna get Miss Bird because she hates me and wants to destroy my
Destroy me.
life.
It's superstitious thinking.
Yeah, it's
like
exactly,
a kid would have.
Yeah. And from Miss Bird's perspective, I think she sees this kid squirming constantly, and when she does that, like, things that we all had weird things our teachers always did, especially in like the younger grades, the kind of routine things, I guess. That being said, that seems like an automatic thing. If the kid is squirming for so long, thinking it's bad teaching, but by making it a point and making them, instead of, you couldn't ask to use the bathroom on your own, you had to make me stop everything, draw attention to it, and use the shaming as a teaching, quote, teaching tool to not do it again.
There are teachers who are like that. It's
especially back
often,
then.
Yeah, it's often an old school style of teaching that now we're like, let's do better than that.
Right. Yeah, let's not
Yeah.
shame them in front of everybody. And his weird fascination with the fact that he can't ask to use the basement. He has to ask to use the bathroom. And that's what he thinks is bullshit. Is he wants to be able to ask to use the basement. But Miss Bird flips out if you ask to use the basement, because good boys and girls don't go to the basement. So that drove me insane. Right?
Yeah.
Am I alone? I had to look it up. So there's an explanation for the basement.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay. So elementary school bathrooms, especially in old brick buildings in the Somerville, Massachusetts and Schenectady, New York area, that upper northeast. In some older brick buildings constructed in the early 1900s, student bathrooms were located exclusively in the basement. Generations of students who attended these schools used the phrase "go to the basement" to ask permission to use the bathroom, making it a terminological idiosyncrasy that stuck with them into adulthood. So these are children of adults who grew up their whole life referring to going to the bathroom casually as going to the basement.
Or more likely, they're the children, because this was written in the 1960s, when probably that was just they used that.
But
they
this
didn't learn
school
it
doesn't have a basement bathroom. This bathroom isn't in the basement.
Does it say that?
Yeah. He never goes to the basement.
Oh, I just assumed.
No, that's why I listened and read the story a few times because it's so short.
Yeah.
You might as well.
Well,
I only
had a
listened
theory.
once.
I feel like we could read the story on the podcast right now.
Oh, that was a classroom activity I had structured for us at the end.
Jesus
I love that.
You said you wanted it.
The last 20 minutes of the podcast are each of us reading the story in its entirety in turn.
And in the first 30, we haven't even left the classroom.
Yeah.
Wait, did we say what year we thought this was?
We have not said that yet, no.
Do we know?
2104.
No, I just had the year that this was published, which was late 60s.
Well, just to Eve's point of if these were the kids versus the kids of the kids, because the timestamp on this note just says 1900s.
Well, I worked in a school that they'd added onto it, but used to be a one-room school, so I could see there being places. I don't know what the regulations, it'd have to depend on what the regulations would be if they'd require the schools to install modern bathrooms upstairs. But I don't know, could be depending on where they're at.
Yeah, so that's just my point is that it's a teacher who he's pissed she doesn't like the lingo.
Yeah, interesting.
She's a a manners.
Which is why I think she's a weirdo creep, because just why are you having this weird power trip over these children? Just
is that
the
not
basement is fine.
A classic
And why are you being so insistent on mentioning that the child is going to urinate? What is your deal?
I'm gonna
Stop
tell
it.
you why. Wait to the end.
Okay.
I solved the story.
What do you mean?
I solved it, Eve, is what I mean.
Is there enough of this story for there to be a mystery to solve? I'm very excited.
Eve, I solved it.
Okay, class. We are going to put a pin in the urination.
It
Fair
won't
enough.
make it stop. Just makes it go a bunch of directions.
All right, so he is dismissed to the bathroom, and he is very, very cautiously entering it when he sees something that I wouldn't have guessed would be in this story.
With the name?
Well, it's setting aside the name if you're just
Sure.
like, what's this going to be about? No, actually, it is.
He enters the bathroom, and the bathroom is L-shaped, the short side where you enter, having the sinks, and then a jog to the stalls and a real ass tiger.
Just hanging out.
Really? Real?
Really real.
Perhaps.
All right.
I mean, there's that. It's an interesting question. It's just
Yeah.
it is presented as there's just a tiger in here.
Well, and we'll figure out why. It seems like really real maybe in a moment. But do one of you want to describe just the tense moment of him reacting to this before his paralysis breaks and he bolts?
Yeah, he turns and he sees that it is laid out on the floor. It is not ready to pounce. It just lazily
Chilling.
looks up at him. And as he's staring, it makes a deep purr noise and stands up, and he nopes the fuck out.
That would be horrifying to see a relaxed wild animal notice you, take a beat, and then change its behavior.
And then that feeling that he has is exactly, it is such a real childhood feeling that because he sees it and he runs out and he gets out of the bathroom, but he is so stressed as the slow pneumatic door closes, and I can feel that feeling. That is the feeling that I had, mentioning again my parents' basement, a fully furnished basement that I would hang out in and play with toys and stuff. But if I was down there by myself, that terror of running up the stairs and being like, something's behind me. It is going to jump on me. I'm dead already. I had that all the time as a child.
Okay, I have to admit something.
Okay.
Keep it at the table.
It's just between us and our
Just
hundreds
between
of
us
listeners.
girls.
I watched this movie called Hell House LLC.
Hell
And there is
yeah.
a scene in it with a staircase. And every time since I've seen that several years ago that I, wake up in the middle of the night if I have to go to the bathroom or our bedroom is upstairs in like an attic room. So I have to walk down this long flight of stairs, go to the bathroom, come back up. I shut that door behind me to come back up the stairs. And I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody, but I think of it, Josh. You know what I'm talking about. The whole way up the stairs, and it's all I can do. I'm 41 years old, not to run up the stairs in the dark.
Outstanding.
Every time. And then by the time I lay back down in bed, I'm like
Crying.
hyperventilating, and my heart is beating fast.
I feel like I have overcome that a lot as an adult, thankfully.
Thanks, Eve. Way to stand with me.
But I was going to say, I can't say too much because I do still have the, urban legend fear from the movie Urban Legend that there's going to be someone in the back seat of my car.
Yes, I do too.
yeah.
Constantly.
Every time I get
it
in
is
my car.
part of the reason my car is always a disaster.
Oh, well,
Because
Safety first.
no one can get in the back seat of my car if all my stuff is there.
so I just lock my car.
You're no
It's
fun.
it's cheaper than Caltrops.
Okay, so Charles, I guess it's Charles.
Oh, I just want to touch on Eve, you mentioned that slow closing of the door. I love that moment where Charles is standing outside and it finally closes and he realizes, okay, it's a pull door. I've never read a single thing that says tigers can pull doors.
That is another that stuck out to me too, because it also feels like such a little kid thing to think.
1000%.
Because like your first thought is, the fuck would he be reading that would be talking about tigers? And then you're like, oh wait, he's a little kid. If anyone's just reading a book of tiger facts, it's
I had a whole encyclopedia on animals.
exactly. In the lead up to recording, I was hanging out with a friend and I was telling them, oh yeah, we're recording an episode about a short story that's 4 pages long. I need to go find some zoo books or something about tigers so I have something to talk about for an hour.
All right, now
They use their stripes for camouflage.
I hope you just continue to randomly whip out facts throughout. That's awesome. Okay, we are going to meet a peer of Charlie's, Kenny Griffin.
Kathy, okay, we get 2 classmates, Kenny Griffin and Kathy Scott, who are mentioned. Who Kathy Scott
Kathy Griffin was on news radio.
Kathy Scott sits in front of him, and it's the girl he likes.
Yeah, he doesn't want her to know he can say the word bathroom.
Exactly. And Kenny Griffin sits behind him and kicked his chair when he got embarrassed.
He's a dick.
Yeah, we get this very great dynamic between these 3. And I love Kenny. He's the best character because he walks up and he scares him at first because he's lost in thought about tigers using doors. And he's like, hey, Miss Bird sent me to come after you because you've been gone for a million years. He's like, I can't go to the bathroom. And he's like, you're constipated. I'm going to tell Kathy Scott you can't poop.
Oh, boy.
I was like, hell yeah. I love this kid.
Well, Kenny is on his way to also use the basement. Should I say bathroom?
I mean, he came to get Charles.
Well, but I guess
and then
he's now curious about going in there
because he doesn't really question the tiger at first because Charles is like, there's a tiger in there. He's like, pfft.
Yeah, and he drags Charles with him because he's like, all right, bud.
If somebody said something so like out of left field, how much of a curiosity would make you look?
That's how I die.
Okay.
There's no way I'm not looking.
So you're a real Kenny.
If it's something that outlandish, yeah, I would definitely go in the bathroom.
I would just assume it was a prank.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go in.
But I want to see the quality of the pranks.
Pranks are mean jokes.
What would you think that the prank is? Do you think that you'd go in there and there's like a guy in a tiger mascot costume?
That's
a pretty funny prank, actually.
I mean, you got what you paid for. somebody said there's a tiger in there, and there
Yeah.
is. But I want him. It can't just be him hanging out. It's got to be him with the head off, smoking a cigarette or something.
Oh,
Okay.
that
It's gotta
is
be,
funny.
that's
That is very funny,
Actually, I like that.
Thank you.
I don't like when I can't see a person's face in a thing.
Do you not
That's why I
like
don't like
mascot
haunted
costumes?
houses.
So you never would have liked me if I
Mascots
were Baloo.
Belong in haunted houses. And I would have been terrified of you.
Have I ever mentioned on the podcast how there was one time a year or two ago where I got really obsessed with a website I found that sold just like knockoff mascot costumes for like way cheaper than you would think something like that would
because
be?
we talked about raising money for you to get one.
Yeah,
Oh, I blocked
because
that out.
I was on this website and for some reason they had a really, really high quality Sonic the Hedgehog costume for $200. And I was like, I need this. And it's a good thing I didn't get it because I would have been that person that just showed up to events dressed as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Halloween comes but once a year.
Class.
If you have a hammer, all problems can be solved by a Sonic the
Gonna
Hedgehog
get a
costume.
5-minute timeout.
Do it.
It's your first warning.
Listen.
Josh, Eve, you've gotten Josh in trouble. I hope you're proud.
Nerd, go sit in the hallway.
Okay, we got to talk about what happens to Kenny in this bathroom.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, more
Kenny,
or less.
Kenny turns the corner and then he is gone.
It's all terrifying noises.
There's no noise.
No, there were terrifying noises. Or
Oh,
was that?
He expects to hear a scream and then
Oh,
nothing.
Was there anything when? Because Miss Bird comes along too, and she also goes in there. Were there noises there?
I feel like there
think-
was.
I don't know because once she goes in, he just
Okay,
walks
maybe
away.
I just got that wrong. Well,
You just were imagining.
Yeah,
you were imagining
I
the
was just
slaughter.
so involved by like page 2.5. This makes Charles feel pretty okay, though, that, all his problems seem to be solved because the tiger is real, so he's not crazy,
Yeah,
right?
good.
And it ate 2 of his least favorite people. So
Well,
now he
this-
doesn't have to deal with them, right?
Did we
We're
skip
jumping.
over?
We're jumping to Miss Bird real quick.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I mentioned her, so I checked
Yeah.
off the list. Yeah, which one of you would like to explain this?
Well, when he goes back into the bathroom, we're expecting blood, gore, viscera of some kind. He turns the corner and there's nothing. The tiger is there. It has some blood around its mouth and on its nose, and in its paw is Kenny's torn up shirt.
I don't think it even mentions blood. It just mentions it licking
it?
its chops.
Oh, maybe I might have just added
Wow,
blood
we're
in
just
there.
I mean, that's
embellishing
actually
that. Okay.
really interesting.
I listened to this once, like 2 weeks ago. You read it right before you
literally
came, so
today.
I'm going to defer to Eve's
No,
memory
that's
of it.
really interesting, though, that it does.
Oh, sorry. I realized why I imagined blood.
Sure.
It's because when he walks back into the bathroom, he
smells it.
copper.
That's right.
That's what it is. He smells copper in the air, and then he sees it licking its chops and the shirt. No, you're absolutely right. And then does the only thing he can do because he's about to burst and pees in the sink.
Hey, we talked about that earlier.
It is very funny that is the moment that Miss Bird shows up. She
as he's like done.
bursts in the door and immediately sees this kid pissing in the sink. And she's like, "What the fuck, you little freak? What are you doing?" He's like, "I'll clean it up."
I'll even use bleach. I
Yeah.
promise. And his rambling about it is very funny. He's like, I'm sorry, there was a tiger and I had to pee real bad. I couldn't use the girls' room because what if Kathy Scott needed to come down and pee? I'd be all sorts of nuts.
So anxious.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so we are wrapped up now, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I
she-
didn't miss anything else.
She asks where Kenny is and he says, tiger around the corner. And she's like, all right, and goes around the corner and he leaves.
I like the one line where she goes around the corner and he says she acted as though she was about to pounce, but she's about to figure out what pouncing really is. I like that.
Yeah. And then
Then,
he
he just walks back to class and sits down and starts reading a book.
Mm-hmm.
Great day for Charles. Okay. To wrap up our episode, I have a couple of questions to ask you both. Are you ready?
Yes.
Ready.
All right, so first
I
question.
solved it.
I don't know what that means.
We'll do these, and then
Yeah.
because you had so many outbursts earlier, I'm going to make you wait.
Yeah,
God
you have to
damn
listen to
it.
me for 5 minutes. That's your punishment.
If any of my college students are listening to this podcast, which, sorry, they'll recognize my relaxed style. Oh, wait, do you think that the tiger was real?
No.
Go on.
So it's gonna factor into my solution, my solving of the story. But-
Should I go first so you can just go into your...
No, because this is just one note, and if I talk
Okay.
about it here, I don't have to talk about it later.
Okay.
Because the tiger is described unnaturally. It is not really described in words you'd use to describe a tiger. It is described as, it was a large tiger with tawny Venetian blinds and dark stripes laid across its pelt. Tawny Venetian blinds are horizontal and symmetrical.
Yes.
So to me, it evokes this impossible, like it is an approximation of a tiger. It is a cardboard folded tiger that, not exactly, but that's the uncanny image that comes to my mind. And I love that because that description is so fantastical, you can either do what I did and take it crazy, or just be like, that's a panicked kid's crazy brain.
Yeah, that's how you interpret that.
Yeah,
Cool.
but that's how I interpret it. It's kind of impossible looking.
Nice. Eve?
No, I think this is just a kid with a panic disorder. I think this kid's just a kid who has an extremely vivid imagination and an untreated anxiety disorder. Because this is 1,000%, like I said, I was very good as a child, not just being like, oh, I'm scared because there could be a monster down there. My brain goes, there's a fucking monster in there, and if I go down to the basement, it's gonna eat me. And so I just took it as a kid who's like, oh, I'm already really worked up because I've been put in an awkward situation by a authority figure, and now I'm scared to go in this bathroom that, like,
Or I'm
would stress me out as a kid. Like that jog around the corner, that's, you don't know what's over there. It's scary.
I felt similarly to you, and I felt like Kenny and Miss Bird going in there was then kind of completing that stress cycle fantasy for him, because now those two things that were the source of this anxiety, surrounding the bathroom issue and the tiger, were those two people. And conveniently, those are the two people who are gone, even though he did run into Kathy as well. Well, not that she would go in the boys' room, but you know what I mean. Okay. My next question is, so even if we do interpret it, and I really like yours, Josh, too, but if we interpret it more, realistically, King is a horror writer, so we can kind of like play around with the reality of that. And just assuming that this is an unclear ending because he doesn't really definitively answer, we get that choice. Why do you think King might have left it that way?
Oh, I have no idea what the point of this story is. I think really what I took from this, and what I took from this is just a very quick sketch of childhood fear. It is really interesting to me that the fear of saying the word go to the bathroom and the fear of a tiger are pretty much equivalent. Like, they are equally scary to this kid. And I think that's interesting. I don't think it's literal. I just think it is a thought, a quick exploration of childhood fear.
These two things aren't connected because they were written very, very far apart. But something that stuck with me ever since Dreamcatcher was where King talked about the moments of horror in the bathroom are so much more because you are vulnerable and alone like almost every time. I have a 4-year-old. I've never been alone when I go to the bathroom at home. But there's that isolation thing. So I do like, I've ever since then thought of the bathroom having that element of horror to it. What was your question?
Oh, it was, and I have an answer for it too after you. It was, why did he leave
Oh.
the story unclear?
I think one of the reasons is one, because it's just so short. To lock in an ending would take more effort than continuing the story needs. But I like that because of that openness, you can interpret it across the spectrum. And one of the most direct interpretations being, it's one of those examples of like a Buick 8. It is something falling through Todash space that doesn't belong somewhere. This tiger was on the other side of the world and backroomsed itself into this bathroom.
Just a fun thing to think.
Right. And
if
then,
you're not there.
and it's this kid just being like, all right, someone will figure this out, and just fucking off. Because then I love the idea of him being like, no,
this is the janitor's problem.
Yeah. Him being like, yeah, that was all fake, right? And then just hearing sirens and stuff,
Yeah. I think I like both of those answers. For me, the unclear ending kind of let us explore the difference between adult reality and childhood reality.
Yeah,
I thought that
I like
was
that a
kind of
lot.
cool. So I think leaving it open like that lets you dig into what kinds of fears these are and those experiences. And we didn't talk about it we didn't talk about it in those terms, but when we were sharing, laughing at ourselves as children and what we found scary and wishing we could go back and be like, hey, that's not a big deal. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think is a nice reflection of that. And I don't know if that was his intent or not, but I like that it kind of naturally pulls those things out of you, and it's 4 pages long. Okay, that is all I have. Josh, I know that you have some theories that you're dying to share and Eve is dying to hear.
CM, you're underselling
It's tearing you apart not being able to talk about this.
You're
Should I
underselling
put on the dunce hat while we're doing this, or
No,
go sit in the corner?
Your time out is over.
Okay.
This story is Charles's nightmare after having a scary encounter in the bathroom of the local movie theater.
Sure.
Are we in desperation?
Oh God. All right. So this is a nightmare processing something that registered as an unsafe situation that he is resolving in this fashion. And I'm going to walk you through what I think happened and how I'm proving it.
Okay.
I was going to say, is any of this in the text of the book?
Yes.
Okay.
So, my theory of what happened, I'll lay it all out there. In real life, he was at the movie theater, went into that bathroom, which is in the basement because it is in an old building, and he thought he was alone, and coming out of the stall, there was a tall man that was in there at the sink minding his own business, that he just didn't see that there was someone in there. It scared the shit out of him that he thought he was alone. And then suddenly this thing, and then ran the fuck out of that room back into his movie theater. And then this is a dream he has processing it.
Where are you
Now-
getting movie theater from?
I'm about to take you on a journey.
Okay.
Eve,
Okay.
I solved it.
You're so upset.
I don't. You keep saying this. Okay.
Because there's so much text in this story to sift through, I had to work hard to pull these details. So you might not recall these details. When Charles walks into the bathroom, the way the bathroom is described, it was very cool inside, with a faint, not unpleasant smell of chlorine hanging pungently in the air.
And popcorn.
Something that...
Sorry.
Now you're in trouble. But that is a something that evokes safety. That clean, sterile.
Sure.
There's a safety to that. Now, in the middle of the morning, it was clean and deserted, peaceful and quiet, pleasant. Not at all like the smoky, stinky cubicle at the Star
That's
Theater downtown.
right.
So it is a directly related, but it is very passing. It is not dwelling,
Okay.
but it is correlating these two places. A
And
place
it
that
is
is
weirdly
safe.
specific.
Yeah.
I did note that because I was like, why is he thinking about the fucking
Yeah.
movie theater?
So that's
Okay.
what drew me there. And then the way the tawny Venetian blinds, that horizontal thing, my brain immediately goes to your dark theater, dark inside of the movie theater. In this bathroom, there's one of those lights that has the slants because so there's
Mhm.
natural light in the bathroom. He came out, saw this big dude with horizontal stripe shadows
Sure.
on him, scared the shit out of him, and he bounced.
Hmm.
And this is a nightmare processing those feelings, this and that relationship with Miss Bird, that crush on Kathy Scott. All those things are also real things in his life that just became the motive to express this story for feeling unsafe in a place he's used to feeling safe.
I think that could work.
I will give you this. The entirety of the story does have the vibe of a not particularly interesting dream your friend is telling you.
Oh, that's the other part of it, is the fact that there is no blood,
Mhm.
because the
Yeah.
bodies are gone instantly. There's nothing, and the fact that we are given no inclination that this kid is a sociopath by any means, but two people did just get murdered, and and when we say he casually walks back to class, there's a description. He reads
Oh yeah, I wasn't joking when I
three
said
bulletin board, like
yeah.
3 posters. It is very
Mhm.
casual, like
Mhm.
nothing happened, and that also feels very dreamlike. Oh, we are segueing from that part of the dream
Mhm.
back into a different part of the dream.
I feel like that's the strongest argument for that.
Mhm.
idea.
I took
I
that
almost
like
missed my closer.
slow casual walk, like when he sits and reads the bulletin board, as just like a trauma response.
Like being in shock.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That could be too.
But yeah, I suppose it is very dreamlike.
Yeah.
I don't. I love that. I think all of these ideas work, and that's why it's
I love
ambiguous.
talking about short stories. Why do I love talking about the shortest stories so much? They're so fun.
Anyone else have any thoughts, or
No, I
should
think
we rate
that's
this?
yeah. Let's rate it.
All right. Would one of you like to go first?
I will. It's a fun story. I like it. 3 out of 5 blue chambray shirts.
Yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It definitely feels like a writing exercise more
Yeah.
than a full story. It's a vibe. It is just a vibe. I don't think you're supposed to take any of it too literally or seriously. It is just like, remember what being scared of shit as a kid feels like?
Yeah.
Here's
Mhm.
that. 3 out of 5 blue chambray shirts.
I can't agree with either of you more. I also see it as just like this glimpse, this moment, this sliver, and that is worth a very respectable 3 out of 5 blue chambray shirts. Sorry I put you in the corner, Eve. I heard
Oh, no.
nobody puts baby in the corner.
That's it for this episode of Derry Public Radio. As always, thank you for listening. Join us for our next episode, where we will be continuing our Patreon selection series with Gerald's Game, and we will be reading through page 165. For CM Alexander and Eve Gatto, I'm Joshua Kahn reminding you, urinate. She's gonna say urinate.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening to There Be Tygers. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, let us know your thoughts on our social media. You can search Derry Public Radio on your preferred platform. You can also send us an email at derrypublicradio@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. And you can chat with us on our Discord. The link for that is in the show notes. Don't forget to check out our Etsy store for merchandise, etsy.com/derrypublicradio, and our Patreon page for monthly bonus episodes, live streams, perks, all kinds of fun stuff. That's patreon.com/derrypublicradio. If you liked this episode, please rate and review us on whatever app you're using. It really does help us, and we appreciate your support so much. That's all for now, listeners. Goodbye.